Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we're going to be talking about everything you need to know about 2026's set for Magic the Gathering. Now that we are doing this video a little bit, different. We've kind of covered this a little bit before, but we're going to be covering that stuff again and then talking about the fact that in a week's time we're going to be having a confirmation on a whole bunch of different things, basically kind of going through everything that we're going to know. So in MagicCon Atlanta coming next week, we're going to be covering like all of the new sets coming. We're going to hear all about that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go through and summarize everything that we know so far, so that way you're ready for when that panel does happen at MagicCon Atlanta. Now before we do get into that, make sure you guys subscribe and share the video around. When this stuff all happens, I'll be up at probably 2 a.m. or something like that, recording a video covering all of the new announcements and stuff, which I usually do. And unfortunately, I won't be able to get to MagicCon Atlanta. I'm based in Australia, so getting over to the US is quite a bunch, but I will be going over to PAX at the middle of next month. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's like my first convention as like an influencer content creator. So I'm very excited. So hopefully, see some of you guys there. So this is the panel that's going to be happening at MagicCon Atlanta. It's a full hour and 15 minutes panel. It says this is the ultimate in the ultimate in the know panel for the ultimate Magic fan. They use the word ultimate twice there. That's so annoying. Be among the first to learn about the new sets coming in 2026, awesome products coming soon, and Lorwyn Eclipsed coming in January. Now keep in mind that awesome products coming in soon is probably going to be about the upcoming Wave 2 of Final Fantasy. I don't know if it's a Wave 2 or just like the holiday release of Final Fantasy. We're also going to get the first look at Lorwyn Eclipsed here, which is going to be launching, I think it's January 23rd, but we'll show you the actual date in a second there. Before shedding some light on the it says Nilly as well, full 2026 calendar, including some set announcements you won't want to miss. So let's go through them one at a time, starting off with Lorwyn Eclipse. So if you don't know what Lorwyn is, it is a plane that we've been to before, which is essentially was in this perpetual kind of switching between two planes, essentially, right? There was Lorwyn and Shadowmoor, and you would kind of go between the two planes. It would shift every once in a while with the Great Aurora, which has been destroyed now. So the shifting's stopped, and, we haven't been back there since a whole bunch of different changes have happened. There are essentially kind of two facets of the same plane, and this plane is great. It's a high fantasy plane. There's no humans here, but there's a whole bunch of humanoids like goblins, kithkin, fairies, elves, tree folk, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to see how the change has happened since, those two facets of the same plane have merged, and also the kinship that started with the Phyrexian invasion that made it so that both sides of this plane had to kind of work together. The elves, who are famously incredibly racist against anyone they deem as ugly, have started working alongside the other races and everything. We'll have to see as to what the changes happen there. So similar to Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, the set is meant to bring forward some of the modern design sensibilities into this set, which originally the original set, I believe, didn't perform all that great. So having it kind of being brought up into this modern day stuff. Now keep in mind, that's not saying like modernized, like there's going to be cars and technology and stuff like that. It's just saying bring it in line with how they design sets and design, especially most likely tribal sets, the kind of kindred sets, the ones that are based around elves and stuff. So bringing forward that kind of Bloomburrow stuff that was amazing, where while there was a mice tribal and stuff like that, where the mice were working together, it wasn't necessarily they all had other mice get +1/+1 and stuff. It was they were all based around that same kind of design philosophy, so they worked well together that way instead. And it's also going to have nostalgia for people who played through the original one and collected the original cards too. So what to expect? Most likely it's going to be a very tribal, kindred focused set. However, as I said, that modern design brought forward from Bloomburrow and stuff. So having that kindred stuff that's not not explicit, it's more elves all work really well together. And definitely, you'll see those high fantasy style creatures like the tree folk, the elves, etc. Next up, we've got the Secrets of Strixhaven. We're going to be returning to the School of Strixhaven, and this is returning to the plane of Arcavios, but specifically going to be based around Strixhaven. So not like the greater plane there. For those who don't know, Strixhaven is like a magical school that's got 5 different colleges that all, you know, teach people magic in different ways. So, you know, there's an art-based college. There's one that's, you know, based around a whole bunch of different like spellslinger-esque kind of stuff. And it's a very spellslinger focused set. And the plane was absolutely devastated with that Phyrexian invasion, including they lost some professors, potentially even lost some of the founding dragons. We don't know, like, you know, where or what's happened to all the founding dragons from Strixhaven yet. So we'll have to see as to what's going on there too, as well as that name, the Secrets of Strixhaven. So we can expect to see like the 5 colleges returning and a focus on those enemy colored factions, which is interesting because we've just had Spider-Man, which focused on the allied color factions. So, you know, we've got like Boros, Izzet, Simic, Orzhov, and Golgari. And it's a very spellslinger focused set with likely a whole bunch of good instants and sorceries. And I do find it interesting that it mentions about the secrets of Strixhaven. What are the secrets here? And how does that interact with, like, you know, the Phyrexian stuff that happened too? All right, next up, we've got ziplining. So it's called ziplining. It is technically, like, you know, that's like the code name for it. We don't know what the actual name of it is. And keep in mind, these last 3 sets here are also within the same arc as Edge of Eternities, which we still don't know what this arc is actually called yet. So ziplining is an event set. We don't know what its name is. We don't know much about it besides its code name. However, this is a capstone event set meant to conclude the multi-year narrative that started way back with Wilds of Eldraine, right? Wilds of Eldraine started, like, you know, the whole Omen Path thing and the Metronome Saga, as they called it. Like, you know, that's the overarching plot for the last 6 years it's going on to. However, we'll have to see as to how it kind of, you know, sums up and stuff like that. Think of it similar to like March of the Machine or the War of the Spark, bringing together all those current threads of stuff that's happening. We've got, like, you know, what happened to Jace. We've got the Nicol Bolas being free. We've got Vel'Gavoth trying to escape. The Omen Pass. We've got Loot and the Famari. We've got all the stuff that happened in Edge of Eternities with, you know, Tezzeret being out in space and stuff and finding that evidence of the Fomori out there as well. Likely going to feature a lot of returning characters and some big battle to save the multiverse kind of stuff. Mark Rosewater did mention about Planeswalkers beginning to show up more in normal sets, like, you know, the in-universe Magic sets, because of the fact that they're not within the Universes Beyond sets. So I would not be surprised if we see at least more than one Planeswalker here. You know, Jace is very likely. Rel has a bunch to do with it in like back in OTJ and in Bloomberg obviously as well. Liliana hasn't shown up for a bit, but she's got ties to like Strixhaven stuff. We could easily see her there as well. After that, or, you know, one of the other sets is going to be releasing, because I'll talk about, like, you know, time-wise later on. We've got an unnamed Marvel set. We don't know what this Marvel set is yet. However, it is confirmed that there is going to be a Marvel set coming next year, and Mark Rosewater, I believe, said that he was leading it. We don't know which franchise it's going to focus on. However, it is going to be coming next year, which also will have the new Doomsday movie coming out as well. We potentially see, like, you know, X-Men 97 Season 2 and stuff, and, you know, we've got like the return of the original X-Men within Avengers Doomsday as well there. So I think it's a safe bet that it's either going to be like Avengers focused or X-Men focused, and I'm really hoping that, unlike Spider-Man, it is not like a, you know, a smaller set that they're then turned into a bigger set, because there is a whole bunch of different problems with Spider-Man, and I think that a lot of it stems down from that, having this smaller set, branching it out into a bigger set, and then also not having the licensing to be able to, you know, have it on Magic Online and Magic Arena and stuff. So therefore stuff had to be more generic and everything. So I'm really hoping that we have, you know, more stuff and it's a better built set. Because I think that Spider-Man was basically what everyone says is wrong with Universes Beyond. Spider-Man is like the key example for so many things for that, but I don't agree that that is all Universes Beyond. We also know that there is going to be some Commander decks coming in future Marvel sets, so I'm really hoping that some of them come with this one. Beyond that, though, there is going to be at least 2 other Universes Beyond sets next year. So Mark Rosewater has confirmed that the plan was for the near future at least, half and half universes beyond and MTG multiverse, so like, you know, universes within sets. So that means there is going to be 2 more universes beyond products next year that are unknown currently. So these, however, are unconfirmed as what they are, but I will discuss some theories for them. And this is the post here from with Mark Rosewater saying about it being a, you know, one nearly half split. So Star Trek. I do think that we've seen a lot of stuff indicating towards Star Trek universes beyond. Some people said Star Wars, but I think it's not. I think it's Star Trek. Next year is the 60th anniversary of Star Trek. It's owned by the same people who did the Avatar set, the SpongeBob set, and I'll talk about the Nickelodeon stuff in a second. Edge of Eternity is, I think, definitely pointed towards more Star Trek Universes Beyond stuff by introducing spacecraft, introducing planets, all that kind of stuff that they can then use here and kind of, you know, it makes people feel less kind of, you know, forced if it was already introduced. The showrunner from Picard also is now working on the MTG animated show. The Black Lotus plane chase at MagicCon Las Vegas was very Star Trek themed as well. And as I said, you know, the 60th anniversary as well. It's not confirmed, but I would bet money on this one, as well as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So at New York Comic Con, I'll show you in a second that panel. There's going to be a panel for an upcoming collaboration between Nickelodeon and Magic the Gathering. I think that there is a lot pointing towards this being Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Not confirmed. Again, neither of these two confirmed. I just think that very, very likely. So the kind of indications towards this being Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are the panelists on that panel have a bunch to do with it. The movie, the second Mutant Mayhem movie, was meant to be coming out next year but got delayed. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collabing with basically everything, like, you know, down to Raid Shadow Legends, Fortnite, etc. There's just enough extended lore in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to do a full set, right? Like, if you're looking at, like, as most Nickelodeon shows, I think that the kind of, you know, lore kind of stops with the show. When you look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there is comics, there is a whole bunch of different series with multiverses abound. You know, there's a whole bunch of movies. There's just everything. You could easily build a full set from it. I think a full set's like your limit, or a full set of Commander decks as well. I guess that would work as well. And this could be like Commander decks. Instead of being like an actual full set, it could be a thing that I'll talk about later, but we'll have to see. As well as the 35th anniversary of the second film, which is re-releasing in cinemas there. But I think the most damning evidence is when you actually look at what the panel lists here. It says Nickelodeon X Magic the Gathering. Get your exclusive first look at the next powerful team up between Magic the Gathering and Nickelodeon. It's going to be redacted. Now, if you look at this post that I got on the side here, this is their panel from 2018, right? The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2018 announcement here. It specifically says the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles panel at New York Comic Con is only 1 week away, and it's going to be radical. Like, you can... I think it's pretty obvious that this is at least talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know if it's going to be just a secret lair. I doubt it. When you have a look at the people who are here, Eric Engelhard, is a set designer. So it has to be a set. It could be a set of precons or, like, you know, a not standard set, but we'll see. All right. So other theories, you know, that's one more universes beyond these two, if both of these two happen. We've got, like, Cosmere. Brandon Sanderson has worked with Wizards of the Coast for a fair bit. He's been doing reveals for, like, the last few sets as well. You know, he was in discussions for a Universes Beyond Cosmere up until that Final Fantasy license got confirmed. There could be a Warhammer 40k Wave 2 or Age of Sigmar you know, set, which would be amazing. Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings are both celebrating the 25th anniversary of their first film releases, and we 100% know they're pushing Harry Potter everywhere. As much as people dislike it, and I don't want to start anything political down there, I know that people dislike it, so we'll have to see as to how that happens. Elder Scrolls potentially has a new game release next year. I know the last time I said that in the video, and then people pointed it out. Potentially. I doubt it, but it could happen. As well as Legend of Zelda. Legend of Zelda is the one that I kind of think would be a bit out there, and I think would be really cool. There is a million different games they could pull from there, and I know people would be very, very excited about that. But it's Nintendo, and Nintendo are famously so, you know, tight with their IP that we'll have to see. But yeah, it's the 40th anniversary of that, as well as the movie comes out in 2027. So we'll see what happens there. So last thing here is that there is going to be a non-standard legal set. So currently Magic the Gathering plans on releasing 7 sets per year. The confirmation for this comes from, again, another Mark Rosewater post, where he said that Lorwyn was delayed only because we slowed down the number of sets per year. It was 8, and then we cut from 9 down to 7. So he's saying, you know, they've cut down to 7 sets per year. But there's only 6 standard level sets per year. So that means that 1 is a not standard set. So it could be anything. Usually this would be a remastered set in January, but that slot's already taken next year by a Lorwyn one. And we do know, you know, that there's a bunch of different things this could be. Like, it could be a Modern Horizons 4, or it could be a Commander Masters or Commander Legends. Not likely going to be another Foundation set, because, you know, Foundations is meant to be set like a standard legal set for quite a while, as well as it's a standard legal set. We're only meant to be having 6 standard legal sets each year. That would make it 7, which people are already shitty about 6, so we'll see. But something Magic the Gathering that is not a standard set, basically. I'm really hoping for like a Commander Masters, Commander Legends, and we all know that they're pushing Commander really hard, so I think that's likely, but Modern Horizons 4 is definitely possible. So this brings us to this picture here, which is updated, so that way it's less confusing for people. So far, confirmation is only this one here. Confirmation of where it is placed on the timeline is only Lorwyn Eclipse. The other ones, these 3 are confirmed. However, we don't know which Marvel set it is. And we don't know what order it's happening in, right? Like, it could be Lorwyn Eclipse, then Marvel set, then Secrets of Strixhaven, then another Universes Beyond, then the event set, then another Universes Beyond. We'll have to see. It could technically, well, actually, sorry. These 3 here are guaranteed to be in this order at least, whether there's things in between or not, because we know it's Lorwyn Eclipse, then Secrets of Strixhaven, and then the event set has to be after those 2. We'll see. These ones could be in any order, like Universes Beyond could be 3 Universes Beyond, and then the event set. We'll have to see that as well. I am very, very excited. I'm very excited to cover this for you guys. I want to hear from you guys as to what sets you're excited for next year. Lorwyn looks absolutely amazing so far, and I'm really hoping, you know, that they stick to a whole bunch of the original lore, but also, like, you know, bring forward the plane into this kind of, you know, modern day and stuff. I'm very, very excited. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. Make sure, again, that you subscribe. The algorithm has been absolutely fucky lately, so I'd love to see, you know, more subscribers and stuff like that, so that way you don't miss any of this stuff. Have a great day, and goodbye.